There it is.
Yeah, speaking about like the Zoom being like free and stuff, but I was doing the project for Roku, the most dangerous game, and which we shot. I haven't seen it yet, but I was talking to
Oh, cool.
my boy. I was talking to my boy, and I was just like, yeah, and I was like, I'm trying to. This is before I shot the second season. I was like, I'm trying to get a hold of like the first season. Can they send it to me? And at that point, we'd already, I think we'd closed the deal and about to start shooting. And he was like, you can just get it on Roku. And I'm like, yeah, dude, but I don't want to pay and he's like, it's free. I was like, hold up. You will have Roku's free? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be a big hit. He's like, everyone loves free shit. And I'm like, I don't care who you are. I was like,
yeah,
like I like if I can do projects and if I tell my family that they got to pay like $4 to like rent it online, or if they got to subscribe for something, they'll just wait. They'll like wait until like until like it ends up on like another streamer, or like someone has like a bootleg DVD. They're like, oh, this is 3 years ago, but it's still you look a little thinner.
Yeah, I gotta ask you though, how's your family? How are they dealing with all your all the stuff you're doing, all your, I guess, success? Are they treating you any different, or?
No. They, if anything, they're a little more harsher on me.
Really?
Yeah, they're a little not even harsher. They're more remember where you came from. What I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There is that kind of
That's why you're so humble. They don't want you to get cocky.
No, I mean, ever since when I did like small little roles, dude, like my mom would, before I'd go to a set, she'd be like, okay, I know you got to be on set by like 10 a.m. So that means you got to take off from here maybe like at 8:30, because we used to live in La Puente. So you got to wake up at 6 so you can clean all the windows for the house. And I was like, all right, so it was like this instilling thing of like, remember the reality where you're at, because I know you're gonna go over there, and it's true. You go there, you go to a set, and there's 100 people like working for one goal, and you have maybe like 8 people around you at all times, whether they're like making sure like hair, makeup, hey, are you good? Like you have, the people are coming up to you, and like they're always, you somehow it's very easy to get wrapped up in the thing where like everything is revolving around you for a moment. And so that's been really nice, and not in a mean way by no means, but that's kind of be instilled in, even to this day. Like they're super proud, they're so happy, and my parents they kind of joke about this, but before I was their son, right? When we go out, be like, oh, that's your son. And now they're my parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So instead of saying, oh, that's your son, they'll be like, oh, you're David's parents.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, is weird. I never thought of that.
Yeah. So
how does that make you feel?
It doesn't. You know what? The perception in itself, I have no control over. So that's something that's, and I try to kind of instill that in whoever I'm across, whether it's my parents or my sisters or my cousins or whatever, where it's like, it's still us.
Yeah. That's true, because other people's view of you, even if you're not in show business, other people's view of you that's their own issue.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you go to family. I mean, obviously, I don't know how often you go to like family parties and stuff, right? Like, when's the last time you went to one?
A family reunion, or like a just hangout?
A hangout with like your closest family members, or things.
Just Thanksgiving and stuff like that. I go to like my sisters, my nephews, and all of them,
and there's something, I don't know if maybe but there's something salacious about like hearing about how other people are doing, at like family gatherings, right? And you
Right.
can't help but to like hear someone's perception of a certain person,
Right.
and then you're hearing it, and like it's funny because you're like hearing it and you're hearing it from their point of view, and it could be good or bad, but you're kind of taking that in, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna enjoy it for what it is right now, but I must not allow this to become my perception of that person. I'm like,
Right. Right.
you know,
Damn, that's
uh,
but that's like a good lesson for like everybody though, like politics and just people in general, because you're just getting like Joe Rogan, right? Like the
yeah,
like he's been getting this whole thing. Oh, he's this, he's a racist, he's the, and then you go yeah, I feel like, but you're trying to project, you're trying to tell me what to think of him, and you're not allowing me to make my own. You're trying to shape his narrative, and
yeah.
you're not allowing us to make our own decision. You almost, so it's almost like it seems uncomfortable. Do you know what I mean?
There was this thing I read, this quote on a portrait of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, and he says
Mm-hmm.
that influencing of the soul is one of the most deadliest things you can do, but also it's one of the it's ego driven,
Yeah.
because it's like if you can influence someone to think your way, then it's like you have yourself running a different life now, and you're watching them kind of grow in their own way, and like,
Right.
but part of your soul is in them now, and they're kind of running with it.
Right.
And I think, yeah, like to be told what to think or what to feel about a certain scenario, it kind of feels like invading of your space, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and
It's manipulative. It feels like hypnosis too. Like when you do the when you go to those shows and you see the hypnotist puts everybody in a chair and like, okay, now you're a duck, like, and people are like quacking and doing all this crazy stuff.
this,
Oh,
yeah, man. I
and
was I
yeah,
No, go ahead.
no. I'm saying, and it's like an act. It's an act to like when people get together at the water cooler and they're like, oh yeah, well I heard, you know, he's with Beyonce now and all this kind of stuff. Like we're living vicariously through these people, and
Yeah.
it's like a distraction from our lives, you know?
I kind of related to, you know, there's a communal thing that we all want to belong to, and want to belong to it too. And I related, you know, obviously every experience that I have is very personal. It's not about me hearing it from someone. I never want to, I heard this about this. I never want to say that because it's just feels, because when they follow up with a question, I'll look like a fucking idiot. I'll be like, oh, and then I'll start making shit up. And then they carry that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm really convincing, obviously they'll carry it into that. But like I went to a party. I went to a family party, right? And it was big and it was well dressed and everyone was drinking. And
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, oh, I'm not drinking today. And
Mm-hmm.
for the first 2 hours, I was excluded from this communal thing of like everyone drinking and, you know, toasting and taking shots and all these things. And it was very uncomfortable and it was really weird. And a part of me was thinking maybe, and I drove 6 hours for this party. So I thought
Wow.
maybe I should just leave, you know, and I'll fine. I'll get home by like 1 a.m. I'm not drinking. I'm fine. And and I said, all right, I'll get, you know, I served myself a cup of coffee. I was like, fuck it, I'll just have a coffee and I'll just roam around a little bit. I was the only asshole with a coffee mug. And I had and everyone, dude, I'm talking like people are in fucking suits and like gowns and shit. And I'm fucking walking with a mug. I'm like walking around like, and, and I start talking to this lady, and then she looks and she sees me with it, and she's like, what is that? And I was like, coffee. Oh, would you put Bailey's in it? And I was like, no, it's just regular coffee. And she looked at me, she's like, I, I I wish I was drinking that right now. Right. Just very and she was a little tipsy. She's like, I wish I was drinking that. And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah. She's like, honestly, I didn't really want to drink today, you know?
Mm.
And then as the night progressed, everyone kind of warmed up to me. For some reason, obviously they got loose or whatever. They didn't see me as an outsider. And they made me feel really like, it didn't really matter now. I felt at home. And it just made me think in that moment, I'm like, you know, I'm not sure, and I don't want to make any predictions, but I know that if that's a very relatable feeling that she's having towards watching me have coffee,
Mm.
I'm sure that there's other people in that space
I
that are
wanted to.
seeing that, that are seeing me not drink, and they're like, I if I'm close with this person too much, I'll start asking myself questions as to why I'm feeling like this right now. So I'm gonna back away and I'm gonna go drink.
Mm. God, that's really that's so metaphorical to like how we are in society. Well, I mean, actually,
Mm-hmm.
not even metaphor. It was an experience of you in society.
Yeah, but that's universal, right? I think
But
you can
it's
apply
yeah.
it to
You know
uh
what? That's why I never used to drink at all. Like I just never took to it. It just wasn't my thing. I just didn't like how people act when they were drinking, and it was like a thing that was used to create to give you liquid courage, as they say, to give you courage to be either an asshole. It kind of amplified whoever the person was, and if they're an asshole, they're more of an asshole. If they're kind of like shy, sometimes they'd use it to not be shy. It was like you were using this other thing that you could just make that adjustment yourself.
yeah.
So, but what happens is when I started traveling a lot. So when I would travel, I noticed that all around the world, if you didn't drink with them, if you didn't drink their grog or whatever was from their thing, you didn't bond with them as much. Like they treated you like an undercover cop.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, so I always found like I would have one drink, at least one drink, especially if I traveled with the person, one of their whatever their local thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that it was easier to connect with them. So now I use it to connect. And I don't know if that's good because but I don't get
No,
I don't think I've only been drunk like maybe twice in my life.
I think that's great. I mean, I was speaking to my mom actually about this a few days ago, and we were talking about when is the right time to say no. You know, when is the right time to say no to drinking and blah blah. And you know, it was almost like it was like this. It was like when I used to smoke cigarettes, I only, you know, how tolerable I was to company I didn't really want to be around because I would smoke cigarettes. So I don't know if you were ever a smoker, but like you go outside and you smoke a cigarette and you spark a conversation with someone that you wouldn't be talking to if you didn't smoke, because that person obviously is a smoker. And it
Right.
goes to think like if I'd never smoked, you know, and sometimes, yes, sometimes you'll have really good conversations with people, but most of the time you just don't want to be alone. And you just want to be like, oh, you know, hey, you and me, we're fucking killing each other right now. What's up? Like, what you doing? You know? And I think it's kind of relating to like the alcohol, which is like, if I feel like I have to drink in order for me to numb this feeling that I
Mm,
have right now of like I'm not really enjoying myself, then that's the wrong time to drink.
right.
If I'm it, but it goes on the other side that you're saying, which is like if I'm with if I'm in a place where I'm celebrating a certain
Mm,
experience
mm-hmm.
and this is part of it, you know, whether it's like the connecting or like
Right.
I haven't seen a friend in 5 years and this is
Yeah.
like a monumental state and this is more of it's a sign of something rather than a numbing of something. It's just a
Right.
then to me it was like that's fair game. Like um but it has changed because I know a lot of kids are like, you know, especially when I was in high school and stuff, like you would drink and you would try to overdrink just to prove that you can like be around these people and you're not left behind, you know.
Peer
And
pressure.
yeah, and to say no to that to drinking means that like, well, who am I going to hang out with? My friends aren't going to call me. I'm going to be the last person they call because I'm the person that wants to make them think about other things,
Yeah.
you know.
That's why I'm interested in altered states when it's like enhancing your consciousness. Like if it's something that's going to improve, give you an insight to life, those are the type of narcotics or things that I'm curious about. Yeah,
Hallucinogenics.
psilocybin or whatever it's like.
Oh yeah,
Not that I
mushrooms.
haven't actually done, but those are the things that I understand more. I'm more a proclivity. I'd more be into that because it's improving something or it's giving you insight as opposed to and drinking. I love like that's so. I'm glad you said that because I realized, oh yeah, that's why when I like to do it when it's a celebration of a moment or thing, but doesn't feel right to do it any, like if it's not that, like if I'm trying to, like you said, hide.
Yeah, or in certain ways. 'Cause I remember, there's a fear of, I'm not going to be fun, and
Yeah.
that's the simple, but that's the like the surface thing. Sometimes it's like, what's deeper than that? It's like, oh, well, am I not comfortable with myself?
Or am I not
And
fun without it?
yeah, and does this define me? And how does it define me? And how do I lose control, right? Because eventually that's what like a lot of hallucinogenics do, right? Like they literally break control of your reality. They just say, this isn't real.
Have you ever
And
done any of that?
oh my God. I said it like I do it a lot. Oh my God, yeah, fucking do it every day. Fucking I had a fucking psilocybin for breakfast today.
Psilocybin cereal.
Yeah, I had it in my fucking protein before I went to the gym. Nah, you know what? I can't. I will. I tried. I've done mushrooms. I've done them recreationally. So I never really. The first few times are really wonderful experiences, and then eventually, it if you're not doing it in the right place, I've become more sensitive to it. So if you don't do it in the right place, you will catch on to vibrations of people, because I think, well, I feel like at the end of the day, we're all vibration. We're all a certain, and sometimes we're vibrating at a high level where everything is flowing through us and outside of us. So we're not like a swamp. When someone's really negative and they're very at a low vibration level, they tend to just like absorb energy and they don't pass it. So they it's like they're walking around, they're just holding all this tension. And so now that I'm like at this space of
I
like,
dated a girl like that, but go ahead.
oh really, like a swamp, like someone that was just like absorbing things.
Just like babies would start crying and she like cats are
Dogs
like
would start
cats are
barking.
like wow,
Oh, roar, roar, roar.
yeah.
Like, why is that dog barking, bro? It's like there's not even a dog here. Who's barking?
Plants would die. Just like,
Oh man, I don't even, look. I really want to ask you about that, but also I don't want you to downplay
you don't
that
want me to,
situation.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like,
No, but I'm just saying, like, we've all been around, as you're saying, I'm flashing back to things like I've been around like I've done comedy, like when you around prisoners, I've done, and sometimes you'll walk by a person and you're like, okay, and they're like, oh yeah, that guy's a murderer. I was like, yeah, I could tell.
you
Because
can,
their vibe is just like, oh damn.
yeah, like there's nothing is going in, nothing's coming out. Like it's like they're just kind of. I know which I've done that. I've had that plenty of times where like you're walking around and like when I grew up and when I moved back to the States, there's a lot of you have to prove yourself, especially when you're a teenager. And and the neighborhoods that I was living in was obviously, there was like gangs, and there was a lot of kids that when you would walk around and you make eye contact, it was like you were seeing them naked. So it was like this, what are you looking at? Like, what it's like there was all these things. So you could almost feel it, like, as you're like, 2 blocks away, you see that boy over there, and you're like, if I see that boy, he's gonna want to beat my ass. And so,
Right.
and that kind of vibration, right? You can, we're very acute to it. Sometimes we numb it quicker by obviously doing a lot of things that keep us stimulated.
Drinking. Do you think you think you have? I always often wonder. You think you have PTSD from those situations?
I don't think so. No, I mean, when I've heard of PTSD and stuff, and I've heard it obviously when people that have been like in active war and
Yeah.
some sort of very traumatic incidents and stuff, I've been very lucky that like I've been able to dissect everything that's happened to me. And obviously there's a lot of stuff that I still need to, but I've been able to do it enough to know that like I'm doing okay,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Have you?
Mentally, I wonder about that because so I live in Santa Monica, and it's like sometimes I remember this homeless guy was kind of like just moving rapidly back and forth behind. And so I'm walking with a group of guys from like Malibu and like, they're like from nicer, like Brentwood, and and
Like Patrick Swayze walking
Sandy.
with you.
Nah, but I mean, they're like rich kids, but and they're wearing flip flops, and that's already a sign that they're never around danger.
Yeah.
You can't really run from flip flops, but but
Yeah.
but I remember this homeless, and I saw him, and he's like, he's got to be like 50 yards away, but I can already pick up the vibe that his energy's all whacked out, and he's coming towards us, and they're clueless, and I'm kind of adjusting my body to see what's going on, and I realized I had a different hyper awareness than they did, and then the guy came up to us and he banged on the button across the street. He started banging on the poles across the street, and they all freaked out. But I was like, yeah, but it's too late. Like you waited, like you guys, you couldn't see that guy from coming towards us. And I go, maybe I'm just from neighborhoods where I was already privy to that. I was more heightened than they were, and I wondered, and I kind of got triggered when I saw that, and they kind of were like, they grew up, in nice neighborhoods, so they didn't notice.
I mean, and I don't know. I mean, I'm not that well versed in that area of like PTSD and stuff, so I wouldn't know what qualifies to like being like, okay, this is that. I totally relate to your scenario where, and I had this thing where like this is how not numb, but like how used to it I was, right? So like I remember one time I was in the same kind of scenario. I was with one of my, four of my closest friends, and we're walking down the street, and we were leaving a house party, right? And we were like 18, 19, and I was already very well versed in like the dangers of it, and I knew that as soon as I walked into a party, I would always know where the exits were. That I was like, that's the exit. I can jump that wall. I can see this and I can see that. And more than a few times, right? Like my first house party that I went to, there was a drive-by, right? And like I saw a dude drop right in front of me. And from that moment, and I dropped. I don't know if he made it. I remember it was just so quick, and I blacked out. I remember just getting in the car and I drove a car at like 16 years old, stick shift down the freeway with like 8 people in my car, because we were just trying to get away from like whoever shot that gun. And it wasn't just one gun, it was like a whole like crossfire. Yeah. And I remember thinking even the next week, like calling my cousin and being like, yo, where the party at? Wow. Right. Yeah. And if I would have told my parents, I mean, my parents do later on, but like if, at that age, my parents would have been like, what are you thinking? Right. And so fast forward to like, 4 years later, I'm walking down the street with like my closest friends, and we see this group of like, white kids, and they're like, and they must have been like from Orange County. And I'm like, or maybe like somewhere like in South Hills where like there's more of an affluent area. And I'm like, what are these kids doing in fucking El Monte? Like, what are they? I'm like, that's fine. But as we're getting closer, we see them on the phone, and some of them are crying, and why are they crying? And like they're like, mom, and like, and everyone's kind of like really kind of hectic, and as we're walking closer to them, out of the shadows pull up like 4 dudes, and like these bald gangsters, and they like just came straight at us, and they pulled guns at us, all of them. They're like, what's up? What you got? And I knew already. I had left my phone, my ID. I had left everything in my car except I had like $4 so I can get into the party and maybe buy a beer. Right. And so I remember like they went up to my boy, and there was this huge thing, man. Like, and especially like when you're very around Hispanic neighborhoods where like, and where like minorities can go against each other, and one of my closest friends who's Black, he was right next to me, and they went to him. Like they were like, like they pulled the gun on us, but then they saw him, and he's a beautiful man. Like he's just like one of the most beautiful human beings. But also he's super ripped. He's like super jacked. And then they went up to him and they were like, what's up? Blah. And I remember he didn't look up. I mean, he didn't look at them in the face. He would just look up. He was like looking at him over. And I thought, everyone looks down. Right. In my opinion, I look down. I'm like, I'm not, but he was like, I'm not going to look down for you. I'm going to look up. but I'm not going to look at you. I'm just going to look up. To me, that showed me a flash of who this person was right there. He was
Wow.
like, he just held his ground, and I had like $4 crumpled. I mean, not four. I have $4, and I crumpled them, and I gave it to them. I said, "Here, I have money." And because they were crumpled, it looked like it was more money. So
Oh,
they
right,
grabbed the
right.
money. They were like, "Hell yeah!" We came up, and they walked away. Right.
Hmm.
But and then we just. But here's the thing: that happened. We left, and we went to another party. You know what I mean?
Right, right. And that's something that could have ruined someone's complete night if they weren't
Yeah,
used to it, you know?
yeah, and I think, and would I want my kids going through that? Hell no, no, but that is very much something that you can either, like, I guess, crawl in a hole and say like, okay, everything is bad, everyone's bad, or you say no, but these are parts of the daily living, and like, um, how do you work through that? Because
Yeah.
eventually those things do come back. Because I remember being in London, or when I traveled to Paris, or I've been to these like other places where like I myself would appear to be an aggressor because
Hmm.
of those circumstances, because I didn't want anyone thinking that they could come up to me and try to take something from me. So I would walk violently. I would stomp. My face appeared as if like I don't want to talk to anyone. And I'd always carry like a closed fist, like especially in my mid 20s, only to realize that like, especially with my partner now, she was like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you so alert going into a subway or into the tube?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I just have this thing." And through time,
But
it's gotten
that's
easier.
what I'm talking about. Is like it's not the level of a soldier maybe, but it's a version of PTSD or being
Hyper aware.
hyper aware because of your experiences. And
Yeah.
to some people that's like your girlfriend, she's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And you're like, "Isn't this what everybody does?" It's like
Yeah.
in the city, like
Yeah, dude. And then especially because like if you were someone that you really cared, like now you're looking out for that person too. So like
right,
it's
yeah,
almost like and I'm like, I remember when I was shooting like the first season of Umbrella, like I had trained so much that I was really trying to prove myself. And so like I would, not that I was going around, being like, I want to fight people, but I was like, I wish someone would just try. Motherfucker, just try. You know what I mean? I'm so well equipped now. I've been training, blah, blah, blah. Obviously nothing happened, but
right, right.
but you walk with that mentality. And then when I did season 2, I went to Thailand and I trained Muay Thai for like a month in this camp.
Mhm.
And then I really learned like a different mentality, which was like, I know what I can do. I just don't want to get in fights. So then I would just, I'd walk around and just be like, it's all good. And that really changed my way of like outlook in terms of like that kind of
Mm.
hyper awareness.
God, those people like that are so much more badass though. The ones who like, you like, because I have friends like that. It was like you could have took that guy out with one hit. Yeah, but violence is not gonna get you anywhere. You're like, what? You're the guy that can kick the most ass, and you're like, I just and me, I just want to see it. I was like, this fool thinks he can roll up on Jensen,
Yeah.
and the guy's like, this guy's a triple black belt.
I think I heard this quote from Bruce Lee, and I'm gonna kind of not give it. I'm not gonna give it like on verbatim, but he said, I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than what was that word?
One in
Than
the
someone who
grave.
no, that's someone in a war zone. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Oh
so
yeah.
like I'd much rather be someone who knows how to defend themselves and never have to use it, and be in a place of peace in a garden,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, and you realize that martial arts is a whole philosophy. It's not just about kicking ass. Because when you're a kid and you're watching those movies, you're like, man, that's so cool. You want to kick at like we used to be
See
out
like Van
fighting.
Damme just
Yeah, just
openish.
and you realize a lot of those moves are pointless now, like just sticking your foot out there, like leaving it out in the air. It's just movies for show.
Or like doing like the double kick that Van Damme would do, like where he would jump like a 360 spin, and like
Right,
kick. And I'm thinking like, obviously being a kid and you're watching the edit and they do the repeat,
right.
and I'm like, how did he do that? How did he do? How was he able to do another jump without going on the floor?
And you also like realize there's no point in a fight where you need to drop in a split.
Ah,
It's like
if, uh,
pointless.
if I told you how many joggers I've ripped as a kid trying to do that stuff, dude, mom would be like, stop doing the splits. And it's like, mom, it's like this I can do it. He's like, I can't keep sewing your pants back up. And I'm like,
Right, right.
it's like, yeah, that's not realistic at all.
How do you feel? Do you feel any different? Because now you have this dream to work in the business or work in show business or whatever, and you're dreaming about it. You're meeting actors or whatever, and you're like, man, I can't wait to be like that guy. Um,
Yeah.
but now that you're doing that stuff, how do you feel different?
No, I mean, yes, you do feel different, but you not in the sense that I thought I would, because
Mm,
it does change because for so long you're trying to get paid for what you love doing. You're just trying to
yeah.
get paid. You're like, whatever it is, I'll do it. I just need to make sure that I can pay my rent,
Mm,
and maybe buy some groceries, and we'll call it a day. And then once that starts happening, I feel like you could go two routes. You can go into like the excessive, like I want more and I want more and I want to win and I want to beat everyone in. And because that can be a very slippery slope,
mm,
of and never being satisfied of something.
yeah.
And then there's another thing that, which is, I think that's the reason why I even went to Peru, was like, well, here I am. I was like, I just got an opportunity to shoot a third season of a show, which is, it's rare enough that you get to fucking get a pilot, and very rare
Right.
that it gets ordered to series. And then, and I was like, here we are on a third season,
Right.
and I got an opportunity to work with wonderful actors, and then I got to work with like another actor that I looked up to so much for the last 10 years, which is Christoph Waltz,
Oh
in this
wow.
other
That's
thing.
cool.
and I'm like, and now I'm here in my house, and I bought a home, and I'm sitting here, and I'm like, okay, what's next?
Mm,
Right. And that's where the thought is, oh, I'm shedding skin. I need to evolve now into like, what is the thing, because this is already, I've built enough now. I feel like that I can ride this train now,
mm,
but now I have the inertia to not, I don't want to say jump track, but to see where this train is going, rather than trying to just get more roles and more money, things like that,
mm,
for own personal gain. Because I just bought this book and I started reading it, called The Second Mountain.
mm.
And it's really interesting because it talks about your second mountain, obviously, right? Which is like, the first mountain can be very ego driven. It's very much about like getting your career, how the world perceives you, and all these things. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to read the book, but
No,
the and then
I've
and then
never
it's
heard of it.
dude, I'll show
Who's
you a
the
picture of it.
author?
Sure, fucking, fuck, I forgot the name.
I
I
love those
literally,
kind of books, by the way.
dude, it's so fucking good. David Brooks, it's this one.
David Brooks. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Second Mountain.
yeah, David, the second mountain. And because this one speaks about like, okay, the second one is, it's about ridding the ego, right? It's like, sorry, it's not about self-centered, it's about out-centered. It's about committing more. It's about faith and community. It's about um uh, uh your spouse and a partner, and really trying to dive into those aspects that we tend to put on the side when we're just trying to focus on like,
Right.
yeah, making up the first mountain. And so when I went to, there's a reason why I went to Peru, because I was like, I need to find purpose. I know my
Mm,
purpose, which is like, I want to storyteller and to connect with people, and hopefully make a difference in whatever that thing means, whatever that means to me. Um, but when I went to Peru, and I was like, I went to this kind of farm in the jungle, and
Mm.
I was there for 10 days, and for 10 days, you know, they strip you away from like electricity and phones, and
Wow.
um your food diet, your diet changes. Obviously they tell you like you should change your diet 2 weeks prior to even going, where like no alcohol, no salt, no spice, no
Wait,
dairy, no red meat. um
the vegan diet?
no, because you can still have chicken and fish,
Mm.
but it's almost a vegan diet. But they what it is, it's almost like a reset of your
Mm.
entire being.
Mm.
And yeah, man, so it was beautiful, because you know that thought of like, did I get to everything I wanted to, do I feel different and all these things.
Mm.
Sometimes that comes from a very like, how does the world perceive me
Mm.
thing, you know. And have I done good, and sort these sort of things, and that can drive someone really like crazy.
Crazy.
You could,
Yeah.
it just rids you with anxiety. um
What did you learn on this trip? That trip you went on, Peru.
um oh my god, man. The It was a lot. It was a lot to learn. A You know, sometimes we think that life is passing us by so quickly, and and if you put your phone down for 10 days, you'll gain a year.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And because my buddy told me, who recommended me, he said it this way, and to me that also makes sense. He says, you need to stay away from your phone. um, you won't have anything. You'll have candles, and all you'll be doing is taking plant medicines. And don't read any fiction. Stick to like facts, and stick to things that will kind of keep you still there and grounded. You can play music and write in your journal and stuff like that, but he said every day will feel like a year.
Wow.
And I thought, yeah, right. You know, dude, I kid you, the first 3 days I was fucking miserable. It was like, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know, like this, you know. And I'm like, the first day I was like, yeah, this food's cool. Third day I was like, why am I eating just rice? It's like, dude, like, you know.
uh,
And by, you know, as you come out of it, you
like
kind of real
detoxing, right? Detoxing food.
detoxing. We have this thought that we have to be productive, and we have to do things, and we have to get things going.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me, and I was talking to a few people there, and it's like, well, who puts that in you?
Mm.
Like, who decides whether you're productive or not productive? You know. And it's like, you have so many noises outside of you telling you, like, when you go to bed, oh my god, I didn't do this, or I didn't do that, and I should do this tomorrow. And you're wrapping yourself into like regrets and future actions. And being over there, dude, like, you would wake up and you brush your teeth. You'd go in the river, you chop up some wood, and I'd read something, and then go meditate. And I'd be like, wow, I had a full day.
I mean, that actually does sound like a full day. But
It does, dude. It really does. And you over here, you know, we're doing 10 times that, and we go to bed and we're like, oh, we didn't do enough. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that's how you've ever
Well, I tend to have like I've been told I'm too mellow or whatever. I'm too chill. Like, anyway, like, but I feel like lately I have been. I feel like I'm doing it in reverse. Like I knew that instinctively when I was young, but now I'm like, wait, should I be doing something with my life? Like I'm going through
yeah.
that phase now. I don't know what how that came about all of a sudden, but I'm like, should I accomplish more? Also, one of my friends said something to me that made me feel. He goes like he came to my place and he was hanging out and he's going for it. He's trying to get on shows. He's directing a movie. He's doing all this stuff. And he comes. He goes, you know what I like about you? So you don't really worry about success, huh? So you're
And what
not
did you
even.
say? What do you say to that, dude?
I don't know. I just thought it was. I laughed about it, but then I was thinking, I was like, what does that mean? Like so
Nah.
you don't feel like also because I'm not married and you know what I mean. And he's been pressured to get married. I gotta get married. I gotta get all this stuff and do all these things. And he's like, it doesn't bother you though, huh? That you're not, like you're just chilling. That's what he's saying. Like, you mean chilling like a loser? What do you mean?
Nah.
Dude,
It's like, wait, should I be doing more? Like, what am I? Nah, man. Like, that's like, it's, you know, we all see ourselves through people, you
Yeah.
know, we always do. And it's easy to like hear something and be like, yeah, it's cool. And then eventually like, wait, am I, are they making a point? And it's, sometimes it is valid. Sometimes it's just their own insecurities, right? Like, um,
Yeah.
I,
But yeah.
yeah, one thing when I came out of the Peru and I remember like going home and I was just thinking, I felt like I had a second opportunity at my childhood
Mm.
because I remember how unapologetic and how driven and but also how optimistic I was as a kid or even in my late teens, right before like you start kind of going out in the world and you're trying to fit in and not cause any ruffles and stuff. But I remember that's this kind of unapologetic way of like motivating and just pushing people and just being like, you can do it, and
Mm.
and wanting to get involved in like people and wanting to do that thing. And then the older I got, or you kind of get into this place of like, oh, you don't want to step on toes. And like especially like in corporate, like they really tell you like, don't, just nod and say okay and I hear you, and because you don't want to offend anyone and blah blah blah. And I'm coming back and I'm like, no, fuck that. Like I want to be
Yeah.
like, I want to be right there. Like, what's going on, dude? How you doing? Like, are you good? And how can I in this moment be in my best, most divine self to like, even if nothing comes out of it, but at least give my best. And what is my best? It all depends in the case to case basis, right? Like, obviously, you wake up one day and you feel like $1,000,000 and another day you're like, my legs are fucking killing me, bro. Or like
But isn't
I
that
had a
good
bad
though?
dream.
Isn't that good? Because if everything was all like rainbows and gumdrops, you would probably be bored. I don't know. As you feel
Oh
like
yeah.
challenge, like when you have a girlfriend, like you were talking about your girlfriend, like which congratulations by the way. Not I haven't been keeping up with your life, so I didn't know you
Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. I
because
pat myself in the
pat,
back.
you pat yourself because you did a good. Did you go after her? Or did she come after you?
uh I would say it was a little 50-50, I'd say.
That's perfect. That's what you
Yeah,
want, right?
that's
Let
what I want.
meet me
You
halfway.
you want someone that wants you as much as you want them.
Yeah, that's a trick. That's what I.
Yeah. I don't know if you were like when you were younger, I don't know if you encountered this, but like you would always find yourself liking a person a little bit more if they liked you.
Mhm.
Does that ever happen to
Yeah,
you?
that's the kind of stuff I'm telling you about. Like that's universal. Like some guy in Stockholm is feeling that, and some guy in Mogadishu is feeling that, and that's our human experience. But I as I started, like I started working younger, like
Yeah.
and so, or I think I got lazy. I think I started having like when if a girl showed interest in me, and that this may not be a good self-esteem thing, I go, oh wow, she's really all right, let's do it. Like it wasn't like, oh, I feel this great passion towards you and I'm going after you. I was like, she did all the work. A lot of the girls did all the work in the beginning, and that wasn't very successful for
And
relationships.
did you ever encounter where like you're like, man, I'm really into this person.
Yeah,
How do I approach it?
yeah, I think those didn't work out as well because like I'm such a, I think I'm gregarious, so like I'm a playful, funny, joking around guy, and then people fall for whatever that personality type they think it is,
Mhm.
and then because they fell for it, I think I should honor the agreement. you know
So you're like, I gotta be like this.
well, now I feel like if a girl, I feel like society is very hard for girl. If a girl comes after a guy that's out of type, right? That's out of it takes a lot of guts for them to do that. So I kind of feel like I reward them by saying yes. even even though it sounds, which is more arrogant when you think about it. But even though like I wasn't real, I was kind of somewhat in, not that, but I go, well, give it a shot, Raw, see what happens, So
Yeah.
then 2.5 years later, you're like, oh damn, I should have like held up for something better.
2.5 years is like a whole, that's a whole ass relationship, dude.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
Yeah.
now I'm in a relationship that because I'm being nice.
Are you in a relationship right now?
No. Now I'm kind of enjoying my I want to do more like what you're talking about. I want to go to Peru or do that. I'm in this self-discovery thing. And I think it's the pandemic kind of
Yeah.
escalated that. I'm like, wait, who am I now? Not who,
Yeah.
what I mean? That's where I'm at. Like, how do you feel about that since the pandemic? Like, you feel like, what do you think that's done to you or done to the world?
Oh, it's the best thing that could have happened to me. Obviously, a lot of bad things happen in that space, right? But from a personal standpoint, like the work that I was able to do with myself was like, I would have never gotten the chance to do a lot of these things if things
Yeah.
didn't really shut down and didn't have an existential crisis, right? For like 8 months of like, is this really, are we done? Like, am I done doing this that I love? And what am I going to do? Like,
Right.
all of these thoughts of like, and it made me kind of, it just made me become a man in a certain way. Like, it made me kind of own up to like a lot of my fears. And because for me, in prior, like relationships and stuff, like when I was younger, I was very elusive and I was very like unattached, and I could move on so quickly, and and I always correlated my own personal relationships to my success as an actor. Like, that was kind of the thought. I was like, and so not realizing that sometimes freedom comes from artistic expression,
Yeah.
and 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 I didn't know that I could separate personal and intimate relationships with my work. I thought, I'm not booking anything. Yeah, it's time to move and do something and change everything around me to kind of have that. And being in lockdown and understanding that and really facing that, I was like, holy shit, like there is an aiding of each, but there is a complete separation of both. Like,
Yeah.
I read this other book called The Way of the Superior Man. I don't know if you've
I
gotten a
have that
chance.
book actually.
Have you read
I
it?
haven't read it yet.
Oh my God, dude, it'll change your life. It will change I read it in like 3 days. Changed my life, because it speaks about, from the masculine essence, the
Right.
point of view of what it is to be, your best self. And obviously it sounds weird because when I say best self, you're thinking like, motivational shit, but it just kind of, it breaks it down in very relatable things. Like, for example, sometimes we think that freedom comes from like choices, and real freedom actually comes from commitment.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, well, like in terms of like, for example, I'll say this. So like, for example, my partner, I was like, I need to go to Peru. I feel like I need to go to Peru. And there's a chance that I'm going to be excommunicado for 10 days. Right. And in previous David mentality, it's an ultimatum, right? It's like, and I know it's an ultimatum, and I present it as an ultimatum. That's like, I'm going 10 days. If you give me any kind of, any kind of resistance or anything, we're done. Right. And so there's a freedom. I have the freedom of breaking this and going into this. Right. But it's like, no, I'm committed to this. Let me see what this does. And I'm like, I'm going to do this. And how that essence and that passage that I read worked was like, it was full acceptance. It was like, I need to do this. And and because there was no pushback, I didn't even think there would be pushback, because sometimes that's a thought. It's like, oh, I'm going to get this, so I'm going to have this answer in case I get pushback.
Oh.
No pushback, not whatsoever. And because there was reinforcement, there was freedom. Boom! I was like, oh my god! Like I've experienced a different sense of love going into Peru and being like, I'm going to be gone for 10 days, and here's a person who I'm fully committed to, who still somehow is still felt full freedom, as if haven't lost my instinct, you know. So this book taps in a lot on that kind of aspect of like, how do you listen to your source?
That's really cool, because you well, but also what you're able to choose in a mate, right? So this person sees you and sees you so well that they're like, oh, this is something that you need. Of course, this is what you need to do. Like they didn't compete with it. They didn't go, well, who are you gonna see? Some bitch in Peru.
Yeah, like there was
so you like Peruvian bitches now? Is that
yeah,
what it is?
it's like what you like their cooking better than my cooking? Like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
There's none
you
of
know
that.
What I mean?
Yeah,
that's
a
there's
maturity.
No threat.
Yeah, so that person didn't see it because they trust you and they trust who you are attempting to be. And I don't know, it seems like, well, I guess that's what I picked up out of it. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, you got to read that book, man, because obviously I will butcher every. I gave it to my dad, I gave it to my brother-in-laws, I gave it to my closest friends. Like I really am trying. Yeah, because I'm like, dude, because it speaks about mentors. It speaks about men don't have a very open relationship with other men sometimes. Like they can be very much like, hey, what kind of car do you have? Oh, I bought this car. What would you do in the truck? Oh, I did this. Or hey, what'd you do to your house? Oh, I did this. Or hey, did you watch the game? And it could be very like perceptive, like kind of like how you said, like, oh, I heard about certain celebrity this happening to a certain celebrity, and you're like, really, that's the conversation we're having? Like,
right.
We have an opportunity to like not bring in anything else, and just and it speaks on that of you know like I said, I'm butcher the shit out of this.
No, I get it, because that's like I said, that's why I wanted to do the podcast, because I noticed I'm having great, like when have we had, I have an excuse to have this conversation with you now. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like not that I needed an excuse, but it does give me a good leeway to, because when would we, and I feel like not only did I feel like having this conversation, but I feel like all of us want to, the reason why the podcast is growing is because people secretly want to have these conversations, or they're listening to it vicariously on the podcast, but they want to have it with each other.
Yeah. As a Hispanic man, there is a lot of it's like taboo a little bit on like being able to like really speak about how proud you are of someone else, or if you're like in love, or things that might feel like I'm gonna get rejected. So like the first time I did ayahuasca in Brazil, that was like back in 2015 or 16, somewhere around there, and I didn't know why I was going. A friend of mine just said, hey, I'm gonna go to the Amazon, and like, do you want to come? And he's from Brazil, and I said, yeah, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you in Acre. I went and I experienced this thing, and I remember thinking, I haven't told my dad I loved him in years. And and so long had passed. And I remember doing this trip, and I was there for like, it might've been like 3 weeks or something, just doing ayahuasca. And the reason why I never said it was because I was afraid he wouldn't say it back. And so there was the antidote, right? It's like, so if he doesn't, you
still love him,
of course. And I remember my dad picked me up from the airport. The first thing I did when I got into the car it was my dad and my mom, and I said, Dad, I love you. The first thing that my dad was like, oh, I love you too. And I was like, great. And for like a month, my parents thought I was like, what the hell did you do over there?
My son came back as a hippie.
My son came back and he's like, "Yo, like, are you in like what are you?" It's like it was like the prequel to Get Out. It's like I was
You're in
just
a
like
cult.
I was like in a different space, dude. It was love. I mean, anyone that really needs to like that is afraid and gets anxiety and has like suffers from some sort of depression or alcoholism or
Yeah.
addiction and things like that, man. Like that's the next wave,
But
100%.
David, I feel like what that experience that you just told me, it's like you being at that party with the mug, the coffee mug, where even though people look, you're not everyone is doing that. People secretly go, God, I wish I could do that. I think secretly we want to be that person. My brother, I hear him, his kids go, I love you. And he goes, yeah, he never says I love you back. Or I hear him go, I do too. Like, what the fuck is
Mm,
that? Just say I love you. Why are we so, but it's not just Latino society. It's like a man thing in a lot of societies.
yeah.
And we're cheating ourselves out of it. Doesn't make us, it makes me feel stronger when I can say it, when I have the chutzpah, the balls to say it, the cajones.
Yeah. It is. I mean, it's almost like you feel the lump on your throat, right? You're like, oh, I want to say it, and then just and it just kind of goes, all
Yeah,
right,
you shut it out. Yeah.
yeah. Or like hugs, right? Like I remember like hugging, like I remember like even my dad, like sometimes not anymore, but like a few years back, I'd be like, I love you, and my dad be like, like he would kind of mumble it, and then I grab him, and I look him in the face, and I'm like, I love you, and my dad be like, I love you too. And I'm like, okay, good. Like, let's just get that out the way. Like, let's
Yeah.
get that. He's like, oh, you do this thing, And
Now let's go hunting.
yeah, let's
Do
go
something.
drink a beer,
Yeah, yeah, shake it off.
Yeah, and I don't know,
Um,
man.
I feel like, okay, so I was asking you about like how do you feel since that pandemic, and I feel like since then, like those type of things are bullshit we got tricked into, and I don't want to play that anymore. I'm like a kid, like I don't want to play anymore, like the fake not being able to say I love you. Like it doesn't mean like it doesn't make me weak, you know?
No,
Or to you, even to people's wives. People don't, I know some people don't say to their wives, but I just said that last week. You think I don't love you? Like,
or like, I don't mean it right now. Why would I say it? You know?
right.
And
Things
it's
like that.
like, yeah, and it's like, well, what are you holding on to? Like, what are you? You're grasping, you're grasping onto something. I was in Oaxaca, back in 2020, like late 2020, and I was visiting a friend, and I said, I feel like I'm losing myself, and I'm trying to figure out how to grasp it, like I'm like, oh, and he was like, dude, he's like, that's the point of life. He's like, you're supposed to lose yourself. Like that just means you're evolving. Like
Mm,
you need to let go of these ideas of what you think is right and what you think you are and all of these things and you have to adapt to like
mm-hmm.
what's the next thing that's calling to you. It's like and based on like the whole the pandemic and stuff, like I think a lot of people, we all went through that. It's like we're losing control of what we had so comfortably. Like
Mm-hmm.
even like I was on YouTube the other day, and it's just somehow stumbled upon a certain musician, and I remember like mid 2010s, like 2015, 16, 17, where it was like these rappers that were just doing crazy shit on like social media, and that was like the big thing, flaunting, breaking things, and blah blah blah,
Mm,
and I remember I was like, wow, and it feels so far, it feels like a different life, and I'm like, I
right.
can't believe this is what people were really investing their time in. It's like,
Yeah, it's like but you've traveled so far. When you say you go to Peru, or you go through a breakdown or reunification with yourself, like who you really are, because a lot of those things seem like trimmings. Like you kind of this person, you are that person, and you get talked out of it to fit into the group called society, right? You get
yeah,
you learn these things. Like I used to be like that with fame.
Mm.
I used to think it just seemed like a weird thing to me, like paparazzi and when or like you see the person who has like a big part in the movie and the one who has a small, and like how the hierarchy and or how interested they are in not just you but what you're attached to. Like, I'm part of this project, so now you're important. Oh, you're
Yeah.
part of that. Well, I'm part of this indie thing. Oh, well, let me know when you're doing something good.
How and how did, I mean, in terms of how you saw it, how did you break away from that, or do you still kind of, does that still linger?
I still think it's weird, but I just think it's just I now don't look. I look at it as a play. Like like this is a thing we all made up, and if we want to, we could participate or not. You know what I mean? It's not like that big. It's not that dramatic to me. It's kind of like, we've all made up this thing, and it's like at some point we're gonna make up a whole different thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're
You
doing it right now with body imaging. We're like, oh, these are the hot models. These are, now we're like, wait, maybe everybody's a little bit cute. Like, maybe we could look at other body types, whatever. We're
yeah.
making we're
This
making
is
up new shit.
this is the sexiest man alive.
Yeah, that is a lot. That's a heavy crown. Alive.
People People magazine sexiest man alive.
Alive.
I think it's so funny because, yeah, like who makes these decisions, right? Like,
Right.
are you in the circus, or are you an audience enjoying the circus? And I think an
Exactly.
audience member is like, that's the place where you can be kind of, I think the word is, I don't want to, maybe it's prudent, where like you could still be
Mm-hmm.
invested but not emotionally invested. You could just,
Right.
like, we're not invested, but you pay attention. You're like, oh, that's, look, I see
Yeah.
what's happening here. Like, I think I kind of lost when I was younger, right? The Oscars and like all these award ceremonies were like, oh my God. I obviously in Mexico, like, that's, you don't have any other source. This is where like you go and like watch it and you're like, these are the best movies. And don't get me wrong, when I was a kid, all of them were amazing. And some of them I never got to see, but I feel like now it's gotten to a state where I think I'm just much more open, and I've gone travel all over the world, and I've
Right.
gone I've gotten to see, like, yeah, just like when you go to Mexico and like you get pulled over by a cop and you don't want to go to jail and you hand them a few bucks and they let you go. It's like money fucking talks, and it's like, and so
Mm-hmm.
like if you go to, and like, so then this weight that I would put on like this idea of being a part of something,
Mm-hmm.
uh kind of, you kind of learn that it's like, yeah, a lot of the things that are made are beautiful and amazing, and some things don't get recognized because there isn't the weight of the dollar bill behind it.
Yeah, like when you go to the 99-cent store and you buy like a cologne, like, and people go, "What is that? That's great." And then
Yeah.
you don't tell them it's the 99-cent store,
Yeah,
because then
dude.
they're gonna judge it. You should tell, "Oh, I got it at Nordstrom's." You're like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah, it's pretty good. But if you're fucking cool and you're in already, they're like, that's dope. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
If you
Exactly.
if you're in, that's dope. Like, oh man, you're fucking cool. And I'm like, and I get it, man. Like, this is obviously, look, I it's so funny. Someone told me about this, about reviews, and like when you watch a film and stuff, and it's like, do you care
Mhm.
about reviews and stuff? And someone said, I shouldn't put too much weight on it, because usually the people that are watching it, they're going through something that day, and they're going to relate to the film and whatever they've experienced leading up to that moment they're watching the film. And he's like, so you can't put too much weight on it, and.
Yeah, that's so true. I've been thinking about that about during the pandemic, because there's so much. Well, this is weird, but said that somebody was telling me like they thought Cool Runnings was racist. you know,
Why?
because there was like the black guys were like in tights and they were like being paraded around. I was like, huh? And I realized that this person is so deep in on the race train that
Mm,
they're probably seeing it in everything. They're like the saying, like, if you walk around with a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
I mean,
It's
I
so
guess
like
so. Yeah.
that's what they're focused on, and so that's like sometimes, like, with protesting and all this stuff, I try not to get to see just only in that lens, because you can go so far down that rabbit hole of where you start to see everything is injustice, or everything is, and we live in a flawed, we live in a flawed premise. You
Yeah.
know.
It's like, it's like, that's not black and white, it's like
Yeah.
there's like, I said, it's perception, right? It's like, how do you perceive the world that you're living in? And yeah, like if you're walking, like, that's a great point, like seeing everything as a nail, like, it's like, yeah, everything is, you can poke at anything you want. You know what I
Right.
mean? You can poke at anything you want. And I'm like, and I don't know, man, like, my parents are, my parents both immigrants, and like, if I ask them what they think about what's happening, they they'll have an opinion, but they're like, it's not I don't need to share it, because they're just more
Yeah.
focused on, like, in their own sense, right? This is, like I said, this is just them, but they're more
Mhm.
focused on, like, paying the bills and, like, feeding the kids and doing these things.
That's what I realized. At the end of the day, you still got to live your life. You can't just be a professional protester, or, well, I guess you
Yeah.
could do whatever you want. I shouldn't say that, but I feel like for me, I can't just express myself with those. It causes a wedge between people, and I'm into focusing on coming together with people, like, or like, there are things that are going well also that we need. I didn't want to play all the keys on the piano. I don't want to just play the somber notes,
Yeah.
and like,
You can
oh,
make really great, like, I mean, whatever way you can do to make yourself feel like you're living in full purpose, right? Like,
right.
if you feel like I need to get out there and do it, and that's my purpose, then that's great. And then there's this other side where it's like, well, I feel like I can be more purposeful by creating something
Yeah.
that will speak from my heart and say, like, oh, this is my way of saying,
Contributing.
contributing to, like, the idea of what I think is truthful, because that's all I'm trying to do, right? Like, this is my truth, this is, and obviously I think some, I'm not saying, I think there is some part of, like, where you create things, so therefore people will react to it, rather than,
Mm.
is that really who that person is, or is, because at the end, all I ever wanted to do was just, be able to speak my own truth,
Yeah.
and to get to that truth is, I think,
Yeah.
the hardest part.
I swear to God, I'm gonna read that book, because I just got that book. But what I realized is, like, because I feel like, man, I'm still figuring all this stuff out, and I thought by now I would have like a lot of this down.
Bro,
Like,
you have to read that book and let me know what you think. Because obviously, like, it's one of those books where, like, you'll read a chapter and you're like, what? I did not, I didn't understand. And, like, this counterbalance of, like, how to, what is, there's been such a wave of masculinity being toxic, or leaning into this toxic masculinity, which I don't know if, I don't know if, like, people try to name it something else, blah, blah, blah. But I do believe that, like, if something is going to be toxic, is to the sense of when you don't listen.
mm,
You know what I mean? To be able to fully listen without trying to impose yourself on something. It's like, you want to be able to take everything that you can learn from and then make your decision, whatever that is, right? And I
mm,
think a lot of the toxicness of being masculine is, like, yes, we make decisions, and that's why we get hit with, like, the mansplaining stuff. It's like, oh, you think you know better, but that's because people don't, sometimes you just don't listen. You're just like, you're so stubborn in your own ego, and, like, what you think is right over everyone else, that you just kind of bypass everything. But I think a great, when you really tap into your masculine lessons, it's about listening to everything, and then making the right, that's following your gut. It's like, what's your gut saying? Not the ego, but what's the gut saying? It's like, oh, yeah, that person's right. My
mm.
gut's saying that person's right. It's like,
Yeah,
okay,
this is the way I'm gonna go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Because, yeah, man, that's
There's, dude. I mean, I can go deeper into that, but, like, I much rather you read it, and then you kind of, and let me know what you think about it, because
I will. Because I didn't know. You keep hearing that term toxic masculinity, but it just sounds like a soundbite at this point. Like I get it that that's part of who, but you know how people like people say virtue signaling. Like people get hip to a word and now can't wait to use it.
Oh my God, they use it for everything, right? Like there's these little code words that everyone's like
Right.
victimizing, or you know what I mean, or
Triggered.
white savior, or like there's these words that that either people get triggered hearing them, you know, because like if you go to one side you say trigger, they're like, oh, and then you go to the other side you say BIPOC, they're like, oh, you know, like, and it becomes this interesting thing. I was like, why are you angry?
Right.
Who is, you know, like I remember I go all over the place, right? And I think, man, if this motherfucker just went to this side of the city or this country and was just there in a restaurant sitting down talking to them, the motherfucker just realized, like, man, who's giving us this narrative? Like, who's, you know what I mean? Like, why are they, you know what I mean? Like, I was at a place in Boyle Heights and I'm dancing with people, and it's like people from all over, like from all across the cultures, and they're all dancing. And I'm like, man, we're all happy. Like,
right.
It's like, who's the asshole saying that, you know, hey, this person wants to this and this person wants to take away this? And it's like,
and we're not getting along. That's what I'm telling you about comedy is like that. When you're in I'm not talking about if I'm in Tennessee in the sticks or something. I'm just talking about in almost any major city, Miami, LA, New York, San Francisco, you're just or even like Boise, Idaho, right?
yeah,
You're in the audience. I mean, you're doing your thing, and the audience is just people laughing or like, oh yeah, that's happened to me, or that's funny that I never thought of it that way. They're not. It's nobody's. Most of the people that are doing whatever asshole things are not. It's not 24/7. They're doing it one time, or they're just unaware. They just don't know a better way to be. They haven't.
yeah.
And they're not. I don't think it says that you're like, oh, I look at this thing and I go, man, we're able to get along a lot more than we think. Because you think about America, it's just one big experiment. Sorry, the United States. Estados Unidos.
Estados Unidos.
Yeah, exactly.
You think about America.
You think about the USA, and it's one big melting pot of throwing everybody together and seeing how we figure out how to live together. And for the most part, we're doing it. But we focus on when it's not happening, we are all over it. We focus on it a lot. And it's go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, think about, like, you know, when you are checking things on your phone and you're being told this perception already, that when you come across those, whoever that person is that might have an interesting point of view, that you're like, oh, I don't really know that point of view, but now I'm already being told what it is and what they think. So you're already coming in with this idea, and if you're having this other person having the same thing, then you're already going to be coming at each other like almost like two dogs smelling each other, like, and I, you know, obviously you can't expect the other person to have that. So therefore it's like, no, I'm not going to expect anything. I have to remind myself of, like, this is not real, this phone thing. And I'm, you know, like, eventually you could just be like, hey man, it's a, you know, nice hat.
But it's the label sometimes supersedes the person's personality. So like if I have a label as an actor or a feminist, if someone I hear she's a feminist, then I'm already, no matter what that person says, I'm already judging it based through that lens, instead of saying, oh, that's Carly. Let me hear what Carly has to say. You know what I mean?
I know, dude. Like, that's just like, I remember, like, just people being like angry at like protests, and I keep thinking, I'm like, why are you so angry at a, like, why can't they just walk? You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Or like the when there'd be like the women's march, right? And it's like why can't they just go and speak and say what they want? Like, what is that to everyone else? Is you know,
Yeah,
to
why are you angry? It's almost like someone else's anger. Like,
it's almost like, yeah, it's almost
you've
like
been
no one
told.
wants to be wrong. No one wants to be wrong. It's like, yeah, no, I'm right.
Mm,
And yeah, it's kind of you know, it's okay. Let them be. Yeah. So that's the goal is to make things that can sort of make people just remind themselves of like small things, who they are, what they do, in terms of like your art forms and stuff. Like,
okay, okay. So there's just two things that I want to ask you. Well, one thing I'm gonna say is I'm not that macho, so I'm gonna say I'm proud of you.
thank you, man.
I am not necessarily I haven't seen everything you've done, so
How
so
dare you? How dare
so
you?
no, but of who you're able to still be in the midst of this crazy mixed up world. That makes sense. Because a lot of things are thrown at you in Hollywood, I think. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
you and for you to still be keeping it together, or I don't know, you could be crying your eyes to sleep every night. I don't know.
It's like the man,
But
as
you
soon as
don't
he
see
hung
like
up, like I actually
no,
got
no, no.
Pizza Hut. I got Pizza Hut waiting for me outside right now as soon as I hang up.
That I want to
um,
say. That was now I want to say that I'm proud of you, and James is so proud of you.
yeah. Thank
Loves
you,
you to
Rawle.
death, man.
Thank you. I know, man. I love him too. And honestly, I would not be in any of this in any position that I am right now if it wasn't for that man. Really.
It's a big James Reese. I'm gonna say his name out loud.
Yes,
If
James Reese. Yes.
it
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
for
it's a
James
big thing.
Reese.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because obviously James was kind of the one that like when you're anything you want to really do and you are have like full of doubt, you just really need like one person that you
Men- mentor, you mean?
a mentor, yes, but to obviously that person eventually becomes a mentor, right? But like
Mm-hmm.
you just need one person to just say one little thing and be like, pretty good. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Hey, and you're like, oh, okay, you know, and
That's
and
yeah.
yeah, and that was James, man. You know,
That's who I hope to be in life. I mean, that's my most fun thing when someone says, "Hey, that one thing you told me that inspired me." That makes me feel good.
yeah, and
You know what I
they
mean?
can carry it into, and you completely forget that you told them.
Right. And you just a passing thought to you, like, I think it, but I think I see things in people and I go, yeah, but you're not, that's not who you are, right? You're actually greater than that. Like, I say weird things to people. It's like, I don't see you as a loser or whatever the hell this is. I don't see you as as that
Yeah.
an dishonest person or whatever. And they think, huh? How is this person saying this to me?
Damn, man. Well, I really appreciate it, man. I
You
appreciate you
know,
telling me, because obviously I, in the same way too, because that's the thing that I've learned as I gotten older now. It's like this kind of like hold everything close to your chest, where
mm-hmm.
like if I knew someone and like I knew about their work, or I knew that like I'm like, oh my God, like I've seen, I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I gotta act
Shit.
like I've been here. Oh,
Yeah,
so
right. Like,
I gotta act like I've been here, so I'm like, oh, so I won't say anything, I won't compliment anything, and you know, and so in the same way, man, like obviously you were at my TV when I was a kid, you know, and like I said, when I saw you, I was like, what? That's Junior. You know what I mean? So I
that's
hope
weird.
I hope this I hope you're this podcast thing, man. Like you continue doing it because you're actually really good at it.
Oh, thanks, man.
You know? Yeah, yeah,
Thanks for talking to me. It's great. I want to say your name right. Castaneda. David
yeah.
Castaneda.
Castañeda.
Castaneda.
Yeah,
I'm
he
learning
really.
I'm learning Spanish, so I'm trying to be cool lately. Like, it only works for people that don't speak Spanish. Like, I impress them, but
Yeah, it's like damn, you use a tilde. Okay, okay. It's like how's your guac? Is it good?
No,
I
my
mean,
guac sucks.
guac is real good. Yeah, man. Let me know. Um, whenever you have a table, maybe like in a year or so,
mm.
we'll do it in person, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. Well, I'm probably gonna have a studio once this is all calms down. We've been talking about it. I'm gonna
I hope
go
so,
into
man. And like I said, obviously maybe this obviously off the record, but like once the show comes closer, man, we can totally do like a smaller one, for the show, or you can release this when the show is about to come out or something, kind of.
Yeah. I didn't. When is the show? When is the new? I actually like the show, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I forgot to talk to you about that.
Hey, I've never seen your work. All right, but
No, no,
off the
no,
record, I have seen it. It's
no,
really
no,
good.
no, no. But I like Umbrella Academy. I just didn't see your movies.
Oh, this one.
I
Yeah,
love
I don't
Umbrella
know.
Academy, and I
I
like
don't
you in
know.
it.
Oh, thank you, Ron. I don't know yet. I don't know. But obviously, once I find out, you'll find out.
Okay. I
Yeah.
feel bad, but I think I like to talk to you, the person. Like you are someone that's doing the show, as opposed to you and the show are kind of almost like the same.
No, 100%. I would much rather be known as a thespian than the character of that show, or as a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. Well, that's one of the things that's been kind of weird, where like I've had to understand what the show has done for me in a benefit, and also like not let it make me feel like I'm identified as the show and the show is me. So it's been kind of being able to work that out of like, oh yes, it's a lot of benefits that's happened because of this show, and I'm
Right.
grateful for that. And also, yeah, like I'm not that person,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So I appreciate this kind of being just kind of off the cuff.
Yeah. That's how I wanted to. Anyway, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing. But I just gotta ask you one more thing. You
Okay.
don't answer if you don't want to answer. So who's robbery? Robbery,
Oh, Robre.
robbery. like,
What? What? Who's that? What do you mean? Who's that?
that I just was on your Instagram and I saw that and I just started laughing. I'm like, do people
Who is?
know that you're funny?
I don't
I don't.
know, man. I don't know. Some people, I don't know. Like, some people think so, but I'm only funny when I take myself too seriously. So
Oh,
I, I guess so. I don't know. Um, but Roby is kind of a culmination of every like man in my family. I'll put it
oh,
that way.
okay, okay.
But they all have they don't have the upper lip up. I just kind of,
Cleft the palate.
yeah. I don't know if that's the.
But
I don't even know where that came from, dude. But
I just thought it was
actually,
hilarious. I was like, this guy is about to do a what do you call it? A sketch show.
oh, dude, I would love to. Fucking if Matt TV ever comes back, I'll be like, can I come
Right.
on? You know,
Yeah.
let me know, man. Whenever you open up a sketch show, though, let me know.
Okay. But David, seriously, man, thanks, man. It's good to talk to you, bro.
Likewise, man. Likewise, and I'm sure I'll talk to you more now, because obviously, since the pandemic, we've never really kept in touch. But
No, but
you know,
that's why I have this podcast. That's my good excuse to keep in touch with people. But David, thank you so much, and to be continued, my brother.
fair enough, man.
I'll
To be
go back to my
continued.
fancy voice, the radio voice.
All right. So, hey, all right, everybody. Have a good night now.
Later. Peace.
Later, brother.